Okay, I think I'm live. We're gonna make sure. Okay, now let's go to live. Okay. And we're gonna, okay, details. Okay. And I'm live. Okay. I don't know why it's letting me save it, but okay. Let's do this. Hello. Ecamm is quite a bit different than going live in other ways. So I am trying to share this. Paste. Post. Okay, that was weird. Okay. I am here. And I've shared it. Let's edit post. There we go. All right. It worked. Okay. It's so weird going like live doing something completely different. All of this is very different for me. So what I'm thinking is that I really want to work on creating some doodles for a PDF for Patreon. And I also wanted to test out the Graham gouache that I have. I have not tested it out. It does have paint on it, but that's simply because I got paint on it from my regular paint. So I have been testing out different gouaches. Gouache, that's just that word, y'all, that word. And these are the mixing ones, the primary ones. So I thought I'd test them out. I'm going to put the swatches in here. And I'm going to do them right here. We're going to draw a line. And then hopefully people will join. That pin's not doesn't want to work right. Okay, so I'm going to draw a line here, and I'm going to draw a line here, just in case. And we've got some paint stuff on there, but that's okay. So, you love doodles? I like doodles too. And one of the things I wanted to talk about is last time I was on live, some people asked about adding art to your pages if you don't draw. if you're not really an artist, if you don't draw. And one of the ways that you can add art to your pages is via stencils, like with letters. You can plop watercolor or swatch watercolor. You can add like a sticker. You could print out on regular paper or on photo paper. Like right now I started reading The Outsider by Stephen King. It's now a television show on HBO. I added some washi tape from Allie Brown. I added a washi sticker that looks like a key, and I wrote key because I wanted to talk a bit about this. I think sometimes we are uncomfortable with something that's new to us or something that we're not maybe very good at. But we don't have to be good at drawing. I have a video that's going to be coming soon where I've created these. And I just drew them with pen, no pencil. My traveler's notebook, some vanilla wafers because making banana pudding. I've been cleaning. I cleaned our coffee pot with distilled vinegar. I trimmed the nails. They were too long. You know, just you can do. I added a sticker. I drew a little. I'm going to be comparing B6 notebooks very soon, especially ones with Tomaway River paper or like Thistology. I drew a little coffee cup, drew the weather, added some more washi tape. I highlighted with watercolor where I wrote my date, and then I wrote my date down. So you can add bits and pieces of art all different kinds of ways. And I'm going to be doing some more videos about that. But one of the things I wanted to do is show, like I did these doodles with a pencil. They're not perfect. They're not going to be perfect. I don't try for perfection. If I wanted perfection, I would take a picture and put it in my journal. So we are going to attempt to try some different gouache. I'm going to attempt to mix some colors. This is artist grade gouache. And I can definitely plop color and draw cute stick figures or messy flowers. Yeah, it doesn't. I'm going to do something in my journal, I think, once I get this on there. I'm also going to be using some watercolors if I need to. But I thought this would be a good chance to kind of do some things on the fly. And things I've already done so that you can kind of see that there's really not that much difference. I use a pencil when I know I'm going to be nervous, and filming makes me nervous. So instead of starting with something that would automatically make me anxious, make my anxiety go up, I decided that I would test out the watercolors because that doesn't make me nervous. We'll swatch, not the watercolors, we'll swatch the gouache. And then we're going to see how they do. We're going to mix them a little bit. And I'm not really good at mixing. I'm learning. I'm taking watercolor classes. So I am getting a little bit better. But yeah, there's a lot to learn. And I do a lot of what I do by just intuition or things that I've already learned from the classes I take. I'm a patron of Romany's, and I take her When Frogs Sing class. So I've learned a lot from Romany. And then I am a patron of Courtney Diaz's, and my journaling style is quite a bit different. I'm a chronological journaler. Now I will work on things that as I go in some things, but like my sketchbook kind of, but mostly I'm a chronological journaler. But I love Courtney's art. I'm not quite that colorful, and I'm a red person. But you can learn a lot even from people who are very different. I'm also a patron of Minnie Smalls, and I love Minnie's work. Okay, hold on, y'all. Okay. All right, sorry. That was my daughter. She's messaging me on Facebook. So, let's start with, we're going to start with the white. We're going to see, oh yeah, right away I can tell that the white from M. Graham is way better than any of the other whites that I've tried. And I've got Winsor & Newton's designer gouache, which is better than the jelly ones. Way better, way better. The Schminke ones are student grade. I think that you are learning very well. Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's fun. It's fun to learn. Okay, so we're going to take this black and we're going to go over here where I've got black ink on my page. And we're going to put like some black down because I want to put some white over this. And we're going to see, I put a lot down right there because I really want to see how, when I put black down with one of them, I can't remember which one now, when I wrote with the white gel pen, it was still, it's, I don't know, it was different. And then I put black down with one of the other ones and it worked really well. Like the white gel pen worked really well on it. So, now we're going to take some yellow and we're going to see. Okay, so yellow is not as opaque, but see, you can make it opaque depending on how thickly you put it on there. But I've noticed with all of the gouaches, gouache, that word, I've noticed that they all sort of behave a bit differently, but some of the colors are, no matter which one it is, are a little bit more translucent than some of the other colors. I'm going to put green right here because I already have that little speck of green watercolor there. And then we're going to put red right here. That's got a little bit more water in the brush. Okay. Okay. So these are awesome. Awesome. These are so awesome. So I think I'm going to mix a little bit of the red. And we're going to mix a little bit of the yellow. Hi! Until we get an orange. A pretty good orange. That's a little bit red orange, but we'll do that right here. And we're going to add a little bit more yellow. Make it a little bit lighter orange. And we'll do that right here. See, the more water you have, the more translucent it is, more like watercolor it is. So now I need a green. So I'm going to take some of this green, some of this yellow, put it right here. I watched Minnie in one of her videos do gouache, and she was mixing it and on a tray, and she made it look so easy, y'all. She really did. She made it look so easy. So this is sort of a darker green. I need to add a little bit more yellow. How's everybody doing? I know a lot of writers and stuff are going live now because it's Camp NaNoWriMo, so I'm kind of competing with the writers. And I'm doing Camp NaNoWriMo, but my writing time is usually in the mornings. All right, now I'm getting a lighter green. Okay. Now, I am going to, I think, take a little bit of this blue, spread it out right here. I'm going to take some of this red. Oh yeah. Okay. So now we need to add just a little bit more. That's a pretty purple. I'm gonna add a little bit more blue to get more of a blueberry kind of purple. Now, last time I tried mixing, I tried to get a brown and I had a hell of a time getting a brown. So I asked questions. And the way to get a brown is to mix your primaries. So I don't have a clean space, but this has got red and yellow in it. So I'm going to add some blue and we're going to see if we can get a brown. Well, we got a green right away. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit more yellow. That looks like olive green. Now I'm starting to get a little bit of a brown. So we're going to take a little bit of red. I'm getting an awful lot of it, whatever it is I'm going to make here. Get some more yellow. Still not brown. Getting closer. Okay, now we're going to add some blue. I will eventually get there, even if it's just mud. Aha! And we have brown. It's a weird shade of brown, but we've got a brown. We got a brown. It's just the right amount. Okay, so I have the gouache and I'm going to take my pen and we're gonna write. Why is it every time I get on here I get a pen that doesn't really want to work? That nib is busted. I need it. Okay. All right. So the gouache is really wet. Really, really wet. So one of the things that we talked about last time I did this, and I'm gonna leave this out. We're gonna let this dry. And I'm gonna find a pen that works. 03. This is a uni pen. These are pretty good. Okay. Let's move this. Let's make sure I'm in frame here. Okay. So this is where I was taking notes. And let's say I wanted to add something from my day, like where I've got like this. So today, I'm cooking dinner and my daughter and my grandkids are coming over, I think. And I'm going to be cooking, all of us like seafood. We all like seafood a lot. So I think I'm going to, we're going to have some shrimp and some fish and some veggies. I'm doing this veggie mix with Brussels sprouts and carrots and butternut squash and stuff. So I'm going to draw some butternut squash. and some Brussels sprouts. I don't even know what Brussels sprouts look like except they're circular, but that's okay. And I'm going to draw a carrot. And but the butternut squash is kind of, I'm going to do it in squares. So we'll do square. And we'll do another, like, and then we're going to make another circle with some lines. And then I'll do another like square kind of piece right here with a little bit of, okay. So I'm just drawing shapes. Now we're gonna have fish. So I'm gonna do this because it's like fillets. And then we're gonna have some shrimp. That poor shrimp, that's a skinny one. That will be awesome for dinner. Brussels sprouts, think mini baby cabbage, yeah. Okay, so, well, I was doing the right thing then. I'm drawing what looks like kind of mini baby cabbage. So that's cool. Okay, so that poor shrimp, that one looks horrible, but that's okay because we're going to take a carrot. We're going to add it in the background so it doesn't look like it's all by itself, you know. And then I'm going to take this because the fish is not going to be flat. And I'm just going to draw a little bit of like things right there. And so there, I've drawn dinner. You love watercolor? I love watercolor too. I've drawn dinner. So I think we might have garlic bread or whatever, but I've drawn dinner. So before that, I've done this. So we're gonna do the black because that will be easier. Or maybe we'll do the red. So I'm going to do this. And I'm just drawing the shape of things. Everybody, it's perfect. Watercolor is amazing, but my drawings aren't perfect. Okay, so we got a line here, a little line here. We got what looks like M. Graham's signature right here. So we're gonna draw some squiggles, and this is called NAPHTHOL, red. Okay. So there's part of my day. Okay. And these don't have to be, I'm not trying to draw perfect. I mean, if I really wanted to draw it more like what it would really look like, I could. But if you're talking about something to put in your journal and you just want to capture the essence of what it is, that's all you have to do. It's all about shapes. So this is sort of a rectangle, but it tapers down right here. This is sort of a circle, but it comes in right here. And this is sort of a circle. It's cylindrical, but at the same time, it's kind of rectangular. So I just go with shapes. I go with shapes. So, Victor's going to bring over his electric guitar. Now, I have no idea of how to do an electric guitar. because I don't have a picture of one and I don't want to mess up the shape. We got him one for his we got him one for his birthday, and Dave was supposed to teach him a little bit. So I don't have a guitar on here, but I do have some music stuff. So if I want to add some art, I can either look up a picture of an electric guitar in clip art or whatever and use it. And then I can do that. I could also draw. He's got this little baby amp that comes with it. So what I might do instead, because I want to add, I might take a picture. So I'll do this. And in here, I have saved some of these from where it prints the picture. And what I'll do, well, that corner is all messed up. So we'll put this corner on the inside. So I'll measure this out and I'll just draw this. So that I know where my picture is going to go. So this is a journal page right here. Now, all I have to do is watercolor it. Now, I can either watercolor it with markers. I can watercolor it with watercolor. I can watercolor it with Crayola Super Tips, Zig Clean Color Real Brush Markers, Arteza watercolor brushes. I could even color it in with Zebra mild liners if I wanted to. Like, it just depends on what you have at hand. I have used Crayola Super Tips. I have used Australia. It's morning. No, not really. I swatched my gouache that is from M. Graham, and it took me a while to get the brown mixed, but I got it. So I have some doodles that I want to watercolor and use some gouache with, depending on what it is. And I wanted to show drawing stuff and using different things, like to put art in your journal. If you're not an artist, it's all about shapes. It's all about finding things. I could actually put this right here. I could take this apart, and this is usually what I do. So let's see where, here we go. Okay. So let's get the scissors, because I got to find the rest of that quote. It's not a whole quote, so I know what I'm looking for. So we're going to do this. So if you really want to add art, but you don't want to draw, like, you can draw. So I just showed some of you who want to draw, but you want to draw like simple things, just draw in shapes. You can draw whatever. Let's say you got something in the mail, like I did. This, I've had this for like a week or so. So I'm going to take this. We're going to put this right here, covering up where I wrote the piece of a quote that I need to find the rest of. We're going to do and then I can't cut straight. Okay. So now I've pretty much covered up all that handwriting that I had in there. And then I'm going to, as soon as I find all the pens, are you pleased with the gouache? Will it be in your Amazon store? I'm going to add some of these to it. I will leave the links in the video below, and I will also, I've got to redo some of my stuff in my Amazon store. I will make sure to include it. And so far, this has been the best gouache, period. It is more expensive. It's M. Graham, and it's real artist grade gouache. The Schmincke student grade is really good. The Winsor & Newton designer gouache, really good, and theirs also came with a green. Theirs came with a green. So I was pretty excited that theirs came with a green and I didn't have to mix the green. I mean, I can make the green darker or lighter depending. But yeah, so the jelly gouache is really fun to play with, but it's nowhere near artist grade, really. I don't think it's quite as good as student grade, but it's really good. I really enjoyed it. I'm still using it to play with. So, okay, so we've got this. And then maybe I want this. And I'm adding bits and pieces to my journal. Whoa, that was my finger, not the paper. Okay. So this is Tomaway River paper. So I'm going to cut part of this off. I don't need it to be this big. And I'm going to cut part of this off because I really don't need it to be that big. And since I can't cut straight, I'm going to cut it right here. Okay, now let's see if I can get it to be a little bit straighter. Okay. I will, if you give me just a minute, because there's a little bit of lag, I will look up on Amazon because I can go right in my where I purchased it and get the link, and I'll actually put it in the chat. Okay, so, oh, that's upside down. We don't want it upside down. Okay. So I can do this. Now, what I can do, because is I can take my brush and I can take a little bit of the gouache and I can do this. Okay, so when that dries, I've got the swatches of it, and I can still journal. I still have plenty of room to journal. So I've taken my box apart. I don't really need anything else from the box now that I've tore it to shreds between, you know. So now we can do this, and I will get the link really quickly. maybe it didn't come from here. M. Graham Gouache. Think that might actually be something. Yeah, it's 45.47. It's on sale right now, so I'm gonna get the link and give you the link. Copy. Okay. Thank you for the thumbs up, y'all. All right, that's the link to the gouache. So what I can do is I've got this on here, and then I can take I don't think I want to do like a whole lot, but I am going to take this red and I'm going to put it across here because I want it to be, and this is a true red, like a pretty true red, like the one that I got from Schminka was not a red, it was a magenta, which is harder to mix colors correctly with when you don't have the right, you know, I mean, you get different colors when you mix a cool with a warm, or like if you mix a red cool with a yellow warm, you're going to get a different orange than you would get if you mixed a cool red and a cool yellow. So magenta is like a completely different color than a red. So I was like, oh my goodness. Okay, so all the rest of that's pretty much white, but I don't want to do white. So we're going to add a tiny bit of this white to this black, and we're going to get this like gray color. Which will work for shadows. So I know I've got a shadow kind of right here. And I'm going to go back in with the watercolor, with this in a second. And I know this looks great right here. And that kind of looks like it's got a little bit of shadow, and that kind of looks, and I'm not worried about the rest of it because I'm going to have some extra on here. So now I've got too much on there, so I'm going to take my napkin because I just kind of want it barely on there. Okay. And I am not a watercolor like teacher or anything. I do a lot of this by intuition, so I could be completely wrong. But what I found that works for me is just kind of following. I look at what's on there and I go, you know, what do I need? What goes right there? Now, one of the things that you can do is, right here on this, because I opened it, there's some red paint. So I'm going to take this red pen, going to add a tiny bit of red there. Gouache for now. For now, it's gouache because I got some M. Graham gouache, so we're trying it. Okay, so this is a journal page. I've got like this will. Okay, so we've got one page here, 2 pages here for today. For yesterday, I had these and that. Multiple pages. Okay, so I'm gonna add a picture of Victor with his electric guitar, and maybe a picture of Victor and the baby. We'll see, because they're coming over for dinner. So now I need to do this. Now I'm not even going to attempt to try to do that with gouache because I am not that familiar with it. So we're going to break out the watercolors. And I just drew these willy-nilly with the pen. I did not trying to stress out. My fish is sort of, we're gonna move this up. I need a little bit more. I'm gonna add a little bit of this. Okay, so this, because it has a crust, I'm doing the crust on it. So now some people write over their pictures, some people don't. Me, it just depends on what I'm doing and how I want it to look. Let's see what color that is. Okay. Like I said, if I wanted perfection, and I'm not an artist with a capital A. I'm a journaler. So I want to journal, and I want to have things in my journal that show at least the essence of what it is that I'm doing in my life. I'm trying out gouache. I'm really impressed with these. So they've actually, that's in there. I've got what we're going to have for dinner. I put parts of the boxes on there. I've done the swatching. I have this picture that I think is really pretty and it's artistic. So, hey. And then I'm going to let that dry for a minute. And I'm going to go in with this green. And I think Brussels sprouts are kind of dark. So we're going to do this. We're going to add the green. Okay. So I'm going to let that dry for a minute. And I've got carrots, which are orange. And I've got shrimp, which are kind of a pinky kind of color. Thank you. I've got shrimp, which are a pinky kind of color. So I'm going to, let's see what my oranges look like. I think that needs just a tiny bit of yellow. Or I can lighten it a little bit. Nope, that's good. And because this is Tomoe River paper, the watercolor is going to take a minute because it sits on top of it. It's not like in my sketchbook, which has mixed media paper in it. So what I do is if I've got a little bit too much on there, I'll dry my brush a little and then I'll move it around a little to make sure. But you can use markers. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you what I do with Crayola Super Tips, which I have a big Folgers bucket of right here. So my shrimp are this pale pink sort of color. I think those are two different colors. And then it's this sort of really, man, they got a bunch of different of these. Really pale beigey color. Nope, this is 52 GSM. This is the Wonderbook 222, I think is what it's called, or Wonderland 222, or something like that. I got it from Etsy. So we're gonna do this. I'm just putting little squiggly lines. I'm going to put a little bit right here because we're going to pretend that's a shrimp. Okay, and then I'm going to take this kind of beigey color. And we're going to fill it in a little bit. Right around where the lines are. Because the pink and the beige are going to give me kind of a pink beige. Okay. So now I've done that with Crayola Super Tips, which I can actually do a different way and kind of make them like watercolor. You can use them like watercolor. So my butternut squash is, we're going to use the yellow. And I don't have, so we're going to just use this right here. I'm going to use my pencil board. Okay. So if you've got some kind of plastic or acetate or a slick surface like this ruler right here, which is one of those quilting kind of rulers, you can use anything that's laminated or something like that. You can take this and you can take your brush and you can pick it up. This is a Crayola Super Tip, which you can find at Walmart, or sometimes you can find them at Dollar General. Sometimes you can find them, I mean, they're at Target. They're all kinds of places. You don't have to have fancy watercolors or gouache. And now I need to go back in and add a little bit more brown. So let's try something different. I know I have like an oatmeal-y kind of color in this thing. That might work. And then I know I have a brown. Okay. And then I have this mustard color. Okay. Okay, that goes back in there. You can do this same thing that I did with the Crayola Super Tips on the slick surface. You can do that. You can also do that with Tombos. These are the Zig Clean Color Real Brush, which are watercolor brushed, and they actually have like a real brush. So this is my medium. So we're going to take the medium. We're going to do this right here. First time I ever saw these being used was by Courtney many moons ago when she was doing the daily Hobonichi journaling. And I know that my fish is not going to be the same color throughout. Oh, thank you. So now I'm going to go in here. And I could do these with the Crayola Super Tips because I'm not actually adding the watercolor brush here yet. But I do remember that when Courtney was doing those, she was like, if you use it on something other than Tomoe River paper and you don't do it very quickly, it can leave a mark. I want it to leave marks, so I didn't do it really quickly because my fish that I'm cooking is it's going to be beer battered fish, and it's not going to look uniform. It's not going to look exactly the same. It's going to have some different spots. Okay. Voila. And I might take my same mustard color. Where did I put it? See, this is what happens. I lose stuff when it's right in front of me. I just had it. What did I do with it? There's these two. Did I lose it that quick, y'all? Did I put it in the bag? Did I drop it? Maybe I put it back in the bag. I don't think I did. Maybe I did. Okay, so we're going to take, I think it's oatmeal or something like that. And that one's beige. This one's oatmeal. That's not going to work. Anyway, it's the wrong color. So maybe I have one in the Crayola Super Tips, a different kind of yellow. Okay, so my butternut squash, around the edges, it's going to be a tiny bit darker. So I want a color that's a tiny bit, that one is more of a gold. So we're going to take that, we're going to put it right around the edges. Doing this with Crayola Super Tips. Take a little bit, put it in the middle. Look at there. So with this, I'm going to take my Crayola Super Tip. I'm going to go over these lines right here, these squiggly lines that I just kind of threw in there because this is supposed to be Brussels sprouts. I'm going to take my squiggly lines with my marker, and I'm going to make some squiggly lines. They're going to look a lot more like Brussels sprouts. Now, how awesome is that? Okay, so now I've got this, and this, we're going to make this look a little bit better with this gray. And I'm going to take it at the bottom, add the gray. And I've just created shadows with the gray. Dinner is looking good. I think I might actually go run, after this is over, I might actually run and go get a bag of, I need to look in my fridge. I think I have a bag of steak fries. And add that to the mix. My daughter and the grandkids are coming over for dinner. I'm not sure if her boyfriend is or not, but I'm going to make some rice for David or some pasta to go with. I might get some cucumbers and tomatoes. I think I've got a cucumber in my fridge and tomatoes, and make some pasta salad as a side, so I have plenty for everybody to eat. But anyway, that's it. So this is what I do for my journal pages. And then what I'll do is I'll take my date stamp, because I've covered almost every surface in here, and I can put my date right there. I can put my date right there, wherever, you know. And that's, I'm gonna write over this, and I don't know, I mean, oh crap, I don't know what I'm gonna use to write over the gouache. I think I'll use my ballpoint pen. I've got the Hobonichi pen, got several of them, and I'll just use that and I'll write over, you know. But that's it. I mean, you can do all different kinds of things. So if I were doing my journal page, that's exactly what I do. So back to the sketchbook, which is mixed media paper. And it's going to handle the gouache better. Not that Tomoe River paper doesn't. You got fresh garden. Oh, I'm so jealous. I want to do an upright garden, but with COVID-19, all that mess, we didn't have time to do everything like we wanted to. We were going to make them. So I'm going to do that next year. I'm going to figure out what we can grow here, because it is humid. It's hot here until November, December. And then it's just, then it's like, I don't know, kind of lukewarm, because it's not actually cold. It might cool off. But in South Carolina, it's definitely not cold. So it stays warm a lot longer here than it does in a lot of places. So I created these, and if I knew how to use Photoshop, I could create them like bigger and smaller, because I drew like this ice cream really big. And some of the things, you know, but I just wanted things that were like very summerish to kind of stand out. So some things I may want to use the white gouache or the black gouache with, or whatever. Other things, I'm just going to use watercolor. So one of the things that I've noticed is I have a hard time. Yeah, it's easy. I'll show you again in a second. I have a hard time with feeling like, for the longest time, had a hard time feeling like my art wasn't really good enough, you know, especially when you are, say you're sharing your journal pages on a Facebook group or on Instagram or whatever, and you're seeing people with these really pretty journal pages or sketchbook pages or whatever, and you're just, I mean, I guess it depends on what you want, but for me, it really did feel very intimidating. And finally, I had to really think about what I wanted out of my own self and out of social media. There were so many people out here who want to add art to their journal pages, but they think it's like with your bullet journal. You know, you've got all these people with these fancy bullet journals doing this gorgeous watercolor stuff in them. That's not what it takes to have a bullet journal. But if you want to add art to your bullet journal, you can take tracing paper, print out clip art, and use tracing paper and, or you know that what is it called? It's like the transfer paper. It's gray on one side and then it's black on the other, and you can press down over and then it puts it on your page. You can use that. You could actually, you know, there's all different, you could use stamps. You could use all different kinds of things. But if you want art in a journal, no matter what kind of journal it is, whether it's a bullet journal or if it's, you know, a sketchbook or your everyday document your life kind of journal, grapes. They love the sun and they can grow at your house. That sounds cool. I like grapes and I love some muscadine wine. Oh my goodness. Yes. Love me some graphite paper. That might be what it is. I can't think right now. I'm getting hungry. So, and I'm talking about dinner and I just did a bunch of food on there. So, one of the things that, oh, that's not the right shade. Look at me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wrong palette. Okay. So we're going to fix that. So once I finish this, I'm not going to correct mistakes. Because I like the watercolor, the hand-drawn, handmade look. And the more I got to thinking about it, when I first started doing pictures, I've come a long way since I very first started showing the pictures of my journal pages in the Fauxbonichi group. There was a Fauxbonichi group, then there were 2 Fauxbonichi groups. I don't know what there is still now, but I think there might be just one left. I don't know. But I used to post pictures like every day. And the more that I posted, the more I was apt to try and to keep doing and to keep doing and to keep doing, so that my stuff came out better. And it prompted me to try and to at least have fun with it, you know? So that's what I did. There's this thing about, I think about social media, that we think all of our stuff is supposed to be perfect, and it's not. It doesn't have to be perfect. I said this in the very beginning of the video. I just dropped water on there. If I wanted perfect, I would take a picture like I'm going to do with Victor holding his guitar, because I know damn good and well that from just my own self, I cannot I cannot for the life of me, unless I look at a reference, draw Victor's little electric guitar. So, okay. So now I'm going to take a little bit of this blue. I'm going to mix it with some of this white. And we're going to add that right here. See what a pretty baby blue that is? And I'm going to okay, so now I know I didn't erase my pencil lines. Normally I would go in here with a pen and go over, but some of this stuff I'm going to do that after, because I'll still be able to see my pencil lines through most of it. So these splash are teardrop shaped, and I just made like I did it kind of like a comma. And then I'm going to add a little bit of a darker blue. And we're going to splash it in so it goes in there. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with the waves. Because this is what's called wet on wet. And I want it to look a little bit like waves. Now I can take some of this blue watercolor and it's alright if it mixes in. Okay, so I want to get those waves back. my waves disappeared. So I'm going to get some of this white. All right. So that dries, and I've got a little thing of an ocean with some little fish under there. I could have drawn better fish. You know, I could have worried about, did my fish look like Finding Nemo? Do my fish look like fish? Does that look like a real fish? I don't need it to look like a real fish. It looks like a fish. I guess I think, I know I did. I got hung up on the idea of having things, and because it didn't look like a picture, because it didn't look like other people's art that looked more like a picture, because it wasn't realistic looking, and it was more illustrated, or it looked more cartoonish, or it looked more like, I mean, that's the essence of a popsicle. So I'm going to go in there with a little bit more, and we're going to go, I really need a better mixing area here. We're going to go in with a little bit more of that. Okay, this is what happens. Okay. So I was trying to get like a summer vibe. Like it didn't have to be for a particular month. It just needed to be something more summery. Okay, so when I think about ice cream, this is sort of a yellow ochre color. Those sugar cone things. I love those things. So we're going to do this. My water is so dirty, y'all. Okay. Some of them have a little bit of a yellow, and some of them have that brown. I like both of them. Okay. And then I'm going to let that dry. And then I need some kind of brown. So, coffee is a really hard color to get. That's nowhere near the right shade. That might be closer. Okay, so we're going to go back to using the Crayola Super Tip. And I'm doing that because I don't have a brown that's like a... I could mix it. I could mix browns. So I'm going to do this. But I'm going to put this up here because it looks like chocolate ice cream. Oh, thank you. Okay, so I just used Crayola Super Tips to do that. So now I'm going to go in. So my coffee is kind of not quite. So I'm going to add a little bit of white. Okay. Now, I know this is really tiny. Really tiny. Erasers are like that orangey, weird orangey color, right? And I happen to have a zebra mile liner that is very close to that orangey color. So I'm going to color that in. Zebra mile liner. Okay. And I know this is that silver color. And okay. Voila. So, okay, so I might want to make my chocolate ice cream just a tiny bit darker now that it's dried a little bit. So we're going to go back in, make some dots because ice cream, we're going to do that same thing in the coffee. Okay. My traveler's notebook. What? Now, a lot of traveler's notebooks are that like camel color, that natural brown, that patinas. Mine is black. And it's this beautiful, beautiful black leather. So I'm actually going to use the black gouache. Let's do this. I've been wanting to try it on here, so this is a good place to do that. So the easiest thing to do when you're drawing like things like a traveler's notebook is your notebook rectangular or is it square? If it's more rectangular, you know, to draw it more like a rectangle. If it's square, more square, then draw it more square. I actually didn't draw this quite long enough because mine's a standard and this looks more like a B6, but that's okay. I'm not aiming, like I said, for perfection. I'm just trying to okay, and I like that, looks pretty good, except that it's a little bit, it's kind of a bit splotchy right here, so I'm going to add a little bit more right here. Okay. So this is getting close. It's not dry yet. Sunglasses. I wanted to do, and I have no idea how to do this, y'all, so I'm going to be winging this. You know the aviator glasses from, I don't know, from Tom Cruise, and, you know, they've made a comeback by Ray-Ban and stuff. So I'm thinking, I don't know. They're sort of a see-through, so I'm going to put sort of a see-through right here, and I'm going to get my little brush, kind of make that. Alright. I have no idea. So I'm thinking I'll just wing it. And I'm going to use this, which is not quite. I think this is sort of a sepia color mixed with a little bit of moon glow right here, which should hopefully give me a granulated enough effect to make it look like I have those shiny watercolors, but I'm trying to do this without that looks kind of like maybe it'll grain. There we go. So let that dry. Sunscreen. Okay, I'm gonna give it this a blue lid. I don't know, I like blue lids for some reason. And then we're gonna make this yellow. And I'll let that dry. So bathing suit. I don't know, what color bathing suit do we want? We want purple? Do we want red? I know this ought to be green, so orange. I think Victor's was like, what year? It's blue, green, red. I'm trying to think. I think his bucket might have been red, or the handle might have been red. Something was green and something was yellow, so we're going to do this yellow. And this is my birthday cupcake. I didn't draw a cake. My birthday's next week on Thursday. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to draw myself a birthday cupcake. And my favorite combination is dark chocolate and raspberry or black raspberry or blackberry. I love raspberries and dark chocolate. So I thought, okay, so we're going to take this same kind of raspberry kind of color. We're gonna swirl it. And then I'm going to wait, and when it dries, I'm going to take like my jelly rolls and make some little sparkles or something on there. I don't know, maybe. And then, so bathing suit. I like that, I like this color. And I might go in there with the Uniball Signo and the white and add some polka dots to it, or some stars, or maybe some little starfish or something after it dries. I don't like this brush for watercolor. This is supposed to be my gouache brush, and it's just in my hand, so I'm using it. Alright, so get a little bit more of this so it doesn't look so streaky. So happy about your cucumbers. Were they easy to grow? You're going to have to go next year in a greenhouse. I was thinking about, wonder how hard it is to build your own little greenhouse with that. Lowe's had or somebody, maybe it was Harbor Freight, had a do-it-yourself greenhouse. A small one. That might be worth checking into, because Harbor Freight stuff's not that expensive. Okay, so now I got my bathing suit done. French fries. Maybe French fries would be either yellow or yellow ochre. I want to do my little fish like the orangey yellow. If it were McDonald's, they'd be yellow. But if they were like, I don't know, I think we'll do yellow ochre. Because when I make homemade French fries, they're more of a yellow ochre. They're not yellow. Okay. And the same with the bun. So when I was first learning and I would see people journaling, I would see them stop and start in places. And I had no idea of why they would start doing watercolor and then they would move on to something else before that one thing that they were doing was finished. For the life of me, because, you know, it had been like a really long time. I took art in the 70s and 80s, y'all. When I was in elementary school and in high school, I graduated from high school in 1985. So I couldn't figure out why somebody would come back to and go, you know, why on earth would you stop and then go somewhere else? It's because you need to let the watercolor dry. It took me a while because I just thought they were like doing different things. It didn't dawn on me until later on what they were doing. And then I felt like an idiot. Okay, so I'm trying out the gouache. Alright, so I need to be a little bit darker right here. I'm not used to going from dark to light yet, which is something that you can do with gouache. It just feels weird to me, I guess, because I use watercolor so much that it just feels really strange to me. Dawn on me. I don't know where that came from. I'm from the South, though, so I could be saying things completely wrong. We have our own language out here. I just messed up that handle, but that's okay. Okay. Now, let's see. Lemon or lime? I don't know. Lemon or lime? I'm still thinking. Lime? Okay. The verb dawn means to become visible or to appear. Aha. It became apparent. It became visible, yes. It did. It took me a while to figure out. And then I really felt like, I really felt dumb because I felt like I should have known the answer to that. Okay, the seeds are like a tiny bit of a yellow, so I'm going to use a little bit of this yellow gouache, just to kind of add a little bit of yellow in there. Okay. Oh, so it's time for me to go. I'm gonna have people are gonna start coming over pretty soon for dinner. So before I go, does anybody have any questions? Um, I think maybe do. My one book July is going really well. Let's see. I got the insert from Rock Your Notebook, and I'm going to be doing comparisons. I got some other ones, so they're coming in. And I'm back to doing the bullet journaling part in this, and all the rest of it I'm still doing in the B6 that I just showed that I did the journaling in a few minutes ago. I have my calendar, which is still in here, right here, and I have my journal stuff, which I should have been doing. Oh, I'm way up. I'm sorry. You can't even see. I was so far up. Okay, so there's the calendar. I'm doing art journaling, some in here. I'm doing the bullet journaling in here. I'm doing the to-do list stuff in this. I just switched Tuesday. So I am switching every week. I was in the B6, but I've left the tracker in the B6. Yeah, I suck at this overhead thing. Is that a turtle? Where is what a turtle? That's a hermit crab. I've done the turtle before, but I'll have to find it. And then this is where I was doing bullet journaling. Like, I have that. So, I've left my tracker in here. And I've kind of merged this into something else. This is the B6, but I'm not missing it because I'm still working in it. I'm still actually doing journaling stuff in it. So that's what I did in the beginning of the video. So yeah, I like standard for to-do lists. I really do. But my goal, after talking about it in that one live video, was changing up, keeping like one place for my general, like kind of as a grand central station. So I have my system no matter what. I was in the A5 to begin with. I switched to the B6. Now I've switched to the standard. I think I was in the standard for a couple of days and then went to the B6, then went, yeah. So I've been kind of back and forth every week. Next week, I don't even know if I'm going to go, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to switch next week. I think I might stay in the standard and the B6 from doing different things. We'll just see how it goes, but this needs to be adjusted a little bit. It'll look better when I add the black lines. So I'm working on it. I am enjoying myself, and I'm not having any major problems with switching because I have them right here. I'm kind of keeping them with me because I'm still in the B6, which has the tracking in it. And so far so good with everything. I have found that I should have been like labeling my bullet journals as like a volume 1 or a volume 2 or whatever, so that if I need to refer back to something, I can. I was watching Miss Vicky B, and that made like so much sense to me. I was like, oh, why haven't I been doing that? So strawberry, I don't know, y'all. What I might do here. This is what I think I'll do. There. And then I can go. Huh. So I hope that y'all have a great one. I hope this was helpful to some of you who have been, I'm going to finish this because I'm going to scan it and create a PDF for my patrons. So I'm going to finish. I got to figure out how I'm going to do the sunglasses. And, but it makes it fun. If you make it fun, then it won't be such a big deal. If you're looking for perfection, then I'm not the person to help. I have a bit of perfectionism. I have a bit of OCD. But when it comes to art, that's my way to relax. It's my way to release anxiety and stress and to chronicle my life. And I honestly don't think my grandkids are going to give two hoots about whether my drawings are perfect or not. But when they look back, when Victor looks back and he sees his picture here and he has family dinner here, and I made this specifically, my grandson loves some shrimp, y'all. Loves shrimp. So he's going to see. We did his birthday Sunday, and I don't have that in here, but I'm going to be putting the pictures in my other journal. Now, he came over Monday and he opened that fortune cookie, and when he looks in my actual journal, because this is not my journal, this is where I do the creative things. I just wanted to show you this, because this is where I put all the creative stuff. Like if I'm trying to figure something out, I did these to show how to do. But this is how I do my journal pages, and it's in here too. But for the personal journaling, because I just switched things, I guess I could have done this backwards. This could be the creative thing. I could actually do this way because I don't have enough on here. So this is like the DIY project we're doing. So I guess this will be the creative one because I have been doing all kinds of other stuff in that one. But I'm chronicling bigger things like in projects and things like that and doing daily journaling. So, but this right here was the personal journaling. But I didn't date it, and that was weekend before last, actually. So I'm behind with this one. But you get an idea, and there I go again, not showing you exactly because I'm a bit off. I've changed my setup on my desk, so I'm a bit wonky right now. As far as like how things go. But I'm liking what I'm doing, and I'm figuring out things, and I'm changing up things until it gets to a point where it feels right to me. And I think that's all you can do is kind of find your way. I do a bit of all different kinds of journaling. I do, sometimes I do more abstract, more intuitive watercoloring. Sometimes I do this kind of watercoloring. Sometimes I do this kind of journaling. Sometimes I do this kind of journaling where I just put like little sentences. Sometimes I don't do anything but text. Sometimes it's just text and pictures and maybe a plop or two of watercolor or something. It really depends on my mood. Sometimes I draw my day. But I have kind of gotten to a point where I would like to have some of this for myself, where I scan this and then my patrons get it, and then I can either print out what I scanned onto, say, drawing paper or cardstock or maybe even mixed media paper or sticker paper or whatever, and then I can cut them out and use them in my journal myself. But it makes it fun, I think, and that's what's important. You have to, I don't know, if you're looking to have perfect drawings or whatever, I'm not the one. And I am improving. These are just for fun. I mean, I didn't sit down. Let me get the one if you really want to see. Okay, so if I were getting serious about it, like if I were really getting serious about it and I wanted to do This is what I do whenever I'm like serious. This one's better than this one, but you get the hint. Like, I can do the more serious stuff, but I want to do this. I'm doing this for fun. I do sometimes. That's why I'm taking watercolor classes. Like, there's an eye. That one's a more serious attempt. You know. Here's one that was a serious attempt and a major fail. That one's actually pretty decent. That one I started and never stopped and never finished. You know, this is something I need to scan. It's the same kind of thing. But I have, you know, I can do different things, but if it then it's work. Yeah, you're right. Then it's work. You know, so I enjoy sometimes when I'm listening to like an Audible book or I'm listening to a YouTube video, when I don't have to, when I can fully immerse myself in the art and I don't have to worry about answering the phone or checking any messages or whatever, you know, sometimes I'll get serious about it. But the more that I do this kind of stuff where I'm having fun, the better I get too. You don't have to do just the serious stuff to get better and have fun, because I did every single one of these without looking at anything. I got my husband a new grill and I remember the shape of it. I don't think I got the handles right, but that's okay. I didn't look, which is why I didn't really want to do Victor's guitar, because I did this from memory, from like the shape of things. You know, I'm not trying to, I didn't look up what fish look like. I just drew them. I didn't look at what a boat looked like. And I know that there's something about this right here that's not quite right with this little sailboat, but I don't care. It's for fun. It's to have a sticker or a journal card or something for a tip in a journal. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not going to spend a tremendous amount of time trying to get one little thing perfect, because the more that I do it, the better I get. Like adding these waves, this was fun. It was an experiment. I didn't know that this was going to work the way that it was going to work. You get what I'm saying? I tried it. I had fun. It looks close enough to waves to me. I can add a little bit more white if I want to. I can take the gel pen. I can add some dots there. I can add a little bit of whipped cream right here. You know, I could add a little bit of wave right here. It doesn't, I don't know. I think if your journal or your bullet journal, or not necessarily your sketchbook, but your sketchbook should have stuff where you're practicing. Ro made a really good comment in class, and she says sketchbooks are not, you know, most people's sketchbooks have the stuff where they've been practicing, the things that aren't perfect. And when she was talking about that, it really got me thinking about, I think that's one of the reasons why I think I enjoy journaling the way that I journal so much, is that it's fun. It's not about, and I think that's why sketchbooks have for the longest while intimidated me, because to me, sketchbook meant it should look more professional, you know. So that's why I'm doing stuff in a sketchbook like this, where I'm actually just having some fun. I've done this with several different sketchbooks where I'm just having fun. This was what I did with the Winsor & Newton designer gouache. I did these. These aren't serious. Now I could probably make some pretty cool stickers if I made some more of them and actually did, you know. But see, this is messy. I'm doing this on purpose, because if I don't and I take myself so seriously, I am not Picasso. But even when Picasso was Picasso before he died, a lot of artists aren't like the best in the beginning. They all learn, you know. I don't know. I know that for me, this started out as a fun way to do memory keeping, and Do I consider myself an artist? Definitely with a lowercase a. I don't consider myself remotely an artist with a capital A. I'm not trying to sell my work. You know, I just want to have fun and enjoy myself. Are there some pieces that I could sell? Probably. But I don't want to spend all my time doing commissions either. If I were to do a commission, it would be because I really wanted to and it was something I knew I could do. But I hope that makes sense. But it's about journaling and it's about having fun. And if you want to, you know, I would rather draw a doodle and watercolor it than use a sticker, to tell you the truth. And I think I'm getting back more and more and more to doing that, which is why I want to get back to making PDFs for my patrons. Even if, you know, eventually I think I'll learn how to do this to make them bigger or smaller and duplicate them so they could actually have like things where they could print it on sticker. But you could downsize this or upsize this for your own, you know, especially if you know how to do Photoshop, you could do it, because I create a PDF with it. So, but anyway, I mean, I think it's for fun and that's what I enjoy. And if the moment that I start making this so serious that it's not fun anymore, I'm not going to want to do it. At least not all the time. And I really think it's important to have something of myself later on for my kids and my grandkids. And I think that the reason I feel that way is because my daddy died when I was so young and I didn't get to know him. And this is a way that I can at least kind of guarantee that my kids, my grandkids will get to know me in a way that I never would have, you know, I never did with my own daddy when I was little. Hello. You know, does that make sense? So, I am about to go, Jane. Berber Van Gorp, for someone really having fun. I will check that out. But I mean, I'm not saying that I don't do anything serious, because I do. But I think our journaling, if you are so wrapped up in the fact that your art can't be perfect, that you're not going to put any of your own art in your journals, but you really want to, then maybe take a step back and think about it, you know, because there's all kinds of fun ways for you to do art. You know, this is sort of almost a square, but it's indented, and then a bunch of lines, a bunch of little rectangular lines that make fries. You know, I don't know, but I gotta get going because I have some stuff I need to start and some dinner I need to cook. And yeah, it's okay. It'll be in the replay. And this was actually really fun because I tried gouache. I did a journal, how to journal. Your art's so much better than mine. So yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I love what Jane does. I couldn't do it. Some of what she does, I couldn't do it. Some of what Ro does, I couldn't do. But you know what? Every time we do something and we watch somebody else do something, or we look at what somebody else does, it can give you an idea to do something of your own. I don't do stuff like other people. I do stuff like me. And there are some things I do well and some things I don't do well. And I know that it's a relief, a release. Yeah, it's a release. So I'm just, I think I'm going to do another video next week, and I'll have it like put together, and maybe I'll do a voiceover about some more about adding journaling bits, like creative bits of things that you draw or things that you add watercolor or things that you add from everyday ephemera, excuse me, to your journal pages. For people who want to add art to their journal pages, but they don't necessarily feel like they can draw. You had inspiration. Yeah. And that's exactly because I will never forget. I was first learning, and I remember seeing Rose videos about when frogs sing. And then I'm going to go. I was seeing her videos, and she did and I don't even remember what video it was, but she did this video and it was really just matter of fact. That's how she is. It was very matter of fact. And she had her platinum carbon desk pen and she was showing something, and it was how to look at and actually see what, you know, like with the coffee cup and it being rounded at the bottom. So I'm looking and I'm watching and I'm listening, and the whole time because I'm watching her video and I'm drawing it with, like, she would draw it and then I would draw it, and then she would, and then I would do it. So when I'm first doing it, it worked, and I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. So sometimes, like I said, it just takes somebody else to point out something to you. So when I talk about how the coffee cup is rounded, when I made the popsicle, I didn't look at it, like I said, I didn't look at anything to draw. But when I made the popsicle, I probably picked the wrong pen to do this with, but I drew the shape and then added that on and then added that on. If you want to draw something, okay. How many of you like those stickers that look like, say, the Hobonichi or the Traveler's Notebook or the B6stology or something like that? I know I do. This is this rectangle. This is a rectangle. Thank you. This is a rectangle. So if I want to take my rectangle and if you want something to look better, but you don't need it to be perfect, make it look sketchy. Add sketchy lines. The more lines, the better. It's going to look more realistic, more like you were practicing and having fun when you are adding sketchy lines to it. So I'm going to take this, going to wrap it around, and I'm going to go up because this is like a book. It's got like a edge and a, okay. So then I've got this thing and this loop thing, and then I've got a pin. So I'm going to fill my pin in a little bit. And then I've got that little, that's not, it is exactly, but my little ollie clip. I've got this little dangly bit. Okay, so I went from a rectangle. Oh, I forgot the little metally bit, the little metal bit. I went from having a rectangle to drawing my Traveler's Notebook. Sketchy lines. Now, could I made that better? Yeah, I definitely could have done a little bit better job. But what I was trying to show you is that I went from this rectangle. So if I wanted to make it solid, I could cross that line out take this line here, take this line here. I hope I'm making sense. I hope I'm making sense. Because if you wanted to draw, what's something that a lot of people draw too? The Hobonichi, which is more square kind of than rectangle. Okay, so I just took sketchy lines because I knew my lines were a little bit off. Now watch. I'm going to use some of that red gouache. The hardest part of doing this is this little corner where the binding kind of meets. And you just have to kind of curve that. Now, I'm not going to get watercolor in those two little tiny lines. So this is what I'm going to do. Take my red pen. Voila. I'm going to take my gray marker. Highlight a little bit of this. Those lines so it looks more like pages. And voila. I hope that y'all have a great one. Thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna do I'll do some more videos about this very same thing. But yeah, so far my One Book July is going really well. I'm actually doing stuff in Sketchbook finally, so I'm really happy about that. I'm gonna finish these up. I'm gonna have to fix that, and I'll see y'all again soon. Thanks, y'all. Bye. Let's see if I can find this.